Hey, HR friends, welcome back. So we made it to day 5 of the 3-2 emotional 6.5 day sequence. So we've got a day and a half left of this sequence, and day 5 is one of the smoother days here. So in the beginning of this sequence, we had a little bit of turbulence or some rocky weather here, okay? Meaning third person agitations were up, first person agitations were up, and ultimately this hasn't been a terrible awareness as far as challenge goes, but there are always challenges. These unseen electromagnetics are trying to dupe us or confuse us and trying to get us to fight or argue with each other. They're activating our defensive biochemistry without our permission or consent. So, Health Reconnected is broadcasting and making sure that you know exactly when these moments will happen, which days are going to be the most challenging, and the good news today is it's not going to be one of the harder days, but you definitely want to stay focused here. This is what's trying to trip us up and stopping us from doing the overall objective in this space-time reality. Now, the overall objective is just mathematical. There's no opinion here, okay? So what we're expected to do is we're supposed to balance and communicate as an interconnected family. And it doesn't matter if we're younger or less mature, or if we're older and more mature, we're expected to integrate our perspectives and make sure that we're helping all members of our family, whether they're direct relationships or whether they're community relationships, start to smooth out their differences between all these different perspectives. Now, on top of getting along as an interconnected team, we're also expected to have a team focus. Now, this team focus revolves around balancing all of our routines equally to ensure that our families, our individuals, our national, our world perspectives are equally balanced, that our routines reflect that balance, meaning that every individual that commits to this is committed to daily routines that ensure that we're going to create a fair, equal, and balanced reality that we all share together. Now, it's obvious, and I say this every post, it's obvious that we haven't been doing this. We've been over investing in individual and family strategy. That's why our world and national views are way out of balance. And how can we be sure of that? Our weather is out of balance. We have all kinds of disruption between our nations. Things are not going smooth right now. Now, here's the good news, and this is what we're going to focus on today. We're focusing on the good news. The second you understand this objective, the second you stop letting these polarity moments trick you into defensive behaviors, and the second you decide to balance your routines and become in alignment with the frequencies that test and govern us, what's going to happen is instead of your body aging and instead of you accumulating the damage that's going to create your future states of disease, you're going to slow the aging process and you're going to stabilize and start to reverse the damage that's been done because of your unbalanced routines. Now, this is how simple we've made this. We've broken it down to the quadrants of the body. We've got the upper left, the upper right, the lower left, and the lower right quadrants. And on either side of these quadrant guides are the relationships that are connected to them. So if you're having problems with any of the quadrants of your body, then you can be certain of which relationships you need to really start to focus on. And again, we are an interconnected team. So when you focus on your relationship, what you're really doing is that you're just communicating clearly. You're trying to cooperate. And what you need to be talking about is the larger objective where we're all trying to balance our routines to ensure that things are going to get better for all of us. All right, that's pretty simplistic example or explanation of how this works now. We're going to look at the zoomed in 24-hour section. That's this white rectangle here. And that's what we've got down here. So this is the 24-hour period for day 5, and it's 7/1/2024. So July 1st, and this is UTC. So UTC sets this date. Yes, some of this is going to be different for different time zones, but UTC sets this date. Now, we have all 24 time zones here. So if you don't have good internet connection, we do this so you can come down here, select it, you find your time zone offset, and then you would snapshot this so that you can have this on you. And what that does is it aligns the times with the electromagnetic peaks in this 24-hour period. Now, you can see we've got some pretty good peaks going here. So when this awareness, when this 24-hour new forecast kicks off, we're going to have some elevation up to that 4 level. 4 is where we start to get concerned. And you can see that both first person and third person agitations come in this first 12-hour section. Then in the middle, when the first and the second 12-hour section meet, we've got quite a peak here. Okay. This is bumping up to 6. This is the one you need to pay attention to. You need to know when this time is coming because you don't want to be duped by this one. Both third and first person perspectives are elevated. Now, besides this first part and in the middle, that's pretty much it. And you can see there's a little bit of turbulence here right before we connect into the next forecast or the next sequence. Now, what we're really going to spend some time on here today is alignments, because we have quite a few alignments here. And not only do we have quite a few alignments, but the durations of these alignments are pretty strong. We've got 3 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 3 hours. So these longer alignments are really going to amplify the frequency. And alignment, just a quick reminder, it's like when two hands of a clock align, the hour and the minute hand would align. And when that happens in this unseen electromagnetics, what's really happening is two frequencies are aligning. These frequencies, when they align, they amplify, and they're going to stay amplified for these durations of time. So for 3 hours, it's going to stay amplified. And what that means is if you're out of balance, if your choices and your routines and your relationships are out of balance during these times, it's going to be very obvious. That's why we take so much time to explain these alignments, because this is how you can know for certain that you are in a biofeedback system. This is a mathematically dictated reality, and your choices determine how you feel and how your experiences go, whether pleasant or unpleasant. Now, we're telling you this because we want you to have pleasant experiences. We want you to be able to reverse disease, and we want you to be able to slow aging. And if we can all balance this together and you commit to this, there is a reward. We get out of this negative feedback loop and we get to transition into a positive feedback loop. That's the reward for all this hard work, because overcoming these electromagnetic polarity points is the very definition of being conscious and using your conscious willpower to overcome what's trying to stop you from achieving this space-time objective. All right, that's enough about that. We talked about these alignments. Now you know why they're important. If you happen to have something unfortunate or feel your body during these alignments, document the time. We've created technology so that you can come into our website, put in the time, see the exact relationships you need to focus on, because I promise you, these tests are coming again and they do not stop until the day we die. So we got to be aware of this and we got to start to make this a priority. All right, so the first alignment we're going to talk about is this MP, small m, capital P. It's on the time side. It's this guy right here. This is going to test the upper quadrants of the body. So both the right and left upper quadrant of the body. The small m, 7.5 day frequency, the capital P, 12-hour frequency. Probably a little more probable you're going to feel this on the right side. Now remember, these are national and world balanced perspectives, meaning that your routines, your daily routines, have balance and you're contributing to the national and world perspective. A lot of people are going to struggle with this one. Again, our national and our world is completely out of balance right now. I don't think anybody can say that we're going in a great direction and that everybody's coming together with a common focus. It's the opposite. We're all having problems between nations, wars, and all kinds of stuff. So this one, pay attention. This is going to affect anything in these upper quadrants. This might trigger a headache. This is going to make it hard to concentrate, all kinds of stuff like that. Pay attention and document. All right. The next one we're going to talk about is this capital P, small e. It's this one down here. Now, this is going to affect the right lower quadrant. P, the P frequency is a 12-hour. The small e is a 3.5-hour frequency. Now, this alignment is happening with another one right on top of it, okay? We're going to look at that one as well. So the PE on the opposite side, 3.25 hours, is going to affect the upper left quadrant, okay? So you could have or experience pain either in the right lower quadrant or upper left quadrant, and these two are going to hit at the same time. So very important you document if you feel it. This is going to tell us what relationships you need to focus on. All right, so the next one we're going to talk about is the capital E, little e. That's this one right here. This is going to affect left lower quadrant. It's a 2-hour alignment. And again, just document if you feel anything. The last one we're going to talk about is this ME, all right? It's a 1.5-hour alignment. So it's one of the shorter today, but it's also the strongest one. So I would expect that people are going to notice left lower quadrant, this M, capital M, is a year frequency. The small e is a 3.5-hour frequency. Again, document if you have any unpleasantness. We can help you change that going forward in the future. All right, so let's move down here now and talk about macro position. Macro position is important. These are the largest or the biggest frequencies with the most power that you're going to experience in this next 24-hour segment. Now, there are tons of frequencies that are going to test us, but where these sit really kind of set the tone. And when you look at this from side to side, you can see we're pretty equally balanced again. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the bottom. We've got 4 up top. Now, When we look at the alignments up here, you can see also that we're going to be tested both in the lower quadrants and we're going to be tested in the upper quadrants today. If I was in practice, expect to feel it all over the place, okay? And upper extremity stuff, especially, is more likely today because of the strength of these alignments, but also because these are the perspectives that everyone in our interconnected experience really needs to start to focus on a little bit more. We are not going to make our national problems go away, and we are not going to do anything to help our climate unless we all start to focus on that and make it part of our daily routines. All right, that's a pretty good one for today. We can look at the testing sequence here. You can see left lower quadrant testing sequence definitely elevated in the second 12 hours. The right upper quadrant, not so much. Now, you got to remember this small m right here, this is a 7.5 day frequency. So very likely people will still be feeling stuff on their right, but at least we don't have a bunch of other frequencies that are going to be combining with it. Other than that, like I said, it kind of expected everywhere today. And this left one's just loaded up a little bit heavier. So maybe this is the biggest concern as well as this left upper extremity. All right, let's move down here and we're just going to review this for new viewers. This is the entire electromagnetic guide for the summer season. This is the entire electromagnetic guide for the fall season. So the rest of 2024 we've posted. And we want you to be aware because when these awarenesses change out, we get a whole nother electromagnetic sequence that's going to test us. Each 6.5 day sequence is unique. And you can see this is the next one that's coming. So when this 6.5 day sequence ends, this 3-3 is going to start. You've already got a preview of what's coming here. This is so if you have plans, you're going to travel, you've got to do stuff, you at least can look forward into the future and you don't have to depend on our 24-hour forecast or the week that we're in because I know a lot of people sometimes plan out in advance by months. All right, that's enough. We'll talk to you in the next forecast. Thanks again.